So, welcome. Could you just tell us who you are and where you come from
Right.
and what you do?
Right. My name is David. I come from the southern part of India. I'm Tamil. I've been working in Norway for about 11 years. And all the 11, I've been at a company called Nordic Semiconductor, which makes microchips, and we do a lot of software, and there's a lot of interesting things that we do.
So, how did you end up getting the job in Nordic Semiconductor?
That's interesting. I follow this guy who runs a newsletter, and we share a lot of interests, so that's something which I like. And I saw an advertisement for Nordic which was saying, hey, to the people who subscribe to this newsletter, that this could be an interesting thing. And the guy who I subscribed to the newsletter said it was interesting, so yeah. So that's why I thought it was a good idea.
So you kind of use your network to get somewhere on you.
Right, I mean, it wasn't really using network, we already had the network, and then Nordic sort of leveraged that network.
Okay.
So it was their way to see, hey, who is the influencer in this kind of business we are in, and they actually did a little proactive way to put those ads over there.
Okay. So that was something you were talking about in your presentation.
Absolutely. There's something like maintaining contacts with people whom you meet at conferences, because you meet so many people in conferences, you're not in touch with anybody, right? Or it's like a tiny minority. But how do you really do this as a system? You need to take a system view of things, of how to keep in touch. And one of the ways I suggested was to look at running a newsletter for things which you know your contact is interested in. So then you could ask like, hey, can I add you into my newsletter? Because then you want to keep the amount of friction by which the contact has to do. He doesn't have to go send you a mail, maybe he has to click a link, or he doesn't have to do anything maybe, right? So you want to keep the friction level low so that the contact remembers you when you want to ask something else, or you move him along something else. Maybe you want to get an interview from him, maybe you want some information from him, maybe it's an informational interview, maybe you have some product for him, I don't know, but you move him on that thing, but you know he knows you and he sort of remembers you for your next step.
What about what you do like in your job?
Right, so my job at Nordic is to do tech support for products, mainly on Bluetooth Low Energy, Bluetooth Mesh, and pretty much on the Bluetooth product line, and something on our new long range product line as well. So I talk to customers, and we always try to say, how can you add value to these guys? What problems are we really solving for them, and how can we solve them in a better way? And I also try to work with master's thesis students, because some of the offering can be made better if only somebody would solve this problem for me, you know. So we are really always looking out for students who can, who have some ideas, or who want to solve this problem, or if you think this is interesting, because that's really, you know, will help us as well, because then we can actually add a bit more value to our customers. And as a company, we would always be able to survive.
Yeah. And what kind of suggestions would you have for students who would come to you and work for you? What type of people are you looking for? Yeah.
I think typically people who are like, looking at us and say, hey, I can add that value to Nordic. If they look at it and if they're willing to learn about Nordic, it's a small city, you can easily reach out to us. And people who take the initiative and they actually can add value to us, we are obviously welcoming such initiatives. There are lots of structures which we try to help them. You know, we have this where we meet the students during their recruiting day, career dagna, yeah. But at that time, it's just establishing contact, really, right? But if you do the effort of actually thinking through a bit of what can I add value to them, or have informational interviews. We have 600 people. And maybe you have something to add to different parts of the business. Go talk to our employees, set up informational meetings, build up your network, and maybe there's some unique value that you could give which nobody else could give. That's really it. You'd be happy, we'd be more than happy as well.